They say money can't buy everything, but what if one man almost did? His name was John D. Rockefeller. He became America's first billionaire by building an empire that controlled nearly every drop of oil in the country. He was a modern-day emperor, capitalist genius. His ruthless ambition left behind a dark legacy of greed and power that we're still grappling with today. This is the story of the man who tried to buy the world and what it ultimately cost him. Every empire starts with a single person. To understand the colossus of Standard Oil, you have to understand the boy who built it. John Davison Rockefeller was born in 1839 in upstate New York into a life of wild contradictions. He was the product of two opposing forces living under one roof. His mother, Eliza, was a devout Baptist, stern, disciplined, and deeply faithful. From her, John learned piety, how to save every penny, and the belief that life was a serious business. She taught him that God rewards the diligent. His father couldn't have been more different. William Devil Bill Rockefeller was a charismatic con man, a traveling salesman who peddled so-called miracle cures. He was a bigamist and a charlatan, but abandoned his family for months, leaving them with nothing, only to reappear with wads of cash. Devil Bill taught his son a different lesson. The world is full of suckers, and the goal is to win. He even boasted about it, once saying, "I cheat my boys every chance I get. I want to make them sharp." This bizarre childhood created a uniquely complex person. John had his mother's reserved, disciplined nature. He also had his father's cunning and a deep, unsettling ambition. He was driven by a powerful need for order, a direct reaction to the chaos his father created. While his father embraced chaos, John despised it. He found his comfort in numbers, in the clean certainty of a balanced ledger. At just 16, he landed a job as an assistant bookkeeper in Cleveland, Ohio. He loved this day so much he called it Job Day and celebrated it more than his own birthday. He was obsessive and brilliant with figures, saving his money with an almost religious intensity. By age 20, he and a partner had started their own commodities business. Then, in 1859, the ground in nearby Pennsylvania split open and spewed black gold. The oil rush was on. It was a frenzy of wildcatters and speculators, an industry defined by chaos and waste, everything Rockefeller hated. While others saw a gamble, Rockefeller saw an equation. Didn't want to drill for oil. That was too risky. He knew the real money wasn't in pulling it from the ground, but in refining it. In 1863, he jumped into the oil refining business, and the world was never the same. In 1870, John D. Rockefeller and his partners incorporated the Standard Oil Company of Ohio. At the time, Cleveland was a jungle of refineries fighting for survival, constantly slashing prices and going bankrupt. Rockefeller looked at this mess and saw an opportunity. His goal wasn't just to compete, it was to end competition. He believed the industry needed one company to bring order and efficiency, and that company would be Standard Oil. His master plan kicked off with what became known as the Cleveland Massacre of 1872. In just 6 short weeks, Rockefeller systematically devoured his competition. He went to the other refinery owners with a simple, chilling proposition: sell to me or I'll crush you. He wasn't bluffing. Rockefeller had a secret weapon: secret discounts from the railroads. He paid far less for freight than anyone else. His rivals, paying double or triple his costs, couldn't compete. Facing ruin, 22 of his 26 competitors sold out. The company became an octopus, its tentacles reaching into every corner of the industry. If a competitor somehow survived, Rockefeller would use predatory pricing, flooding their market with kerosene sold at a loss until they went bankrupt. In 1882, Rockefeller pioneered a new corporate structure: the trust. The Standard Oil Trust allowed a central board to control dozens of supposedly independent companies, creating a single, monolithic monopoly that dodged state laws. By the 1880s, the plan was nearly complete. Standard Oil controlled about 90% of the oil refined in America. John D. Rockefeller had effectively purchased an entire industry. To his supporters, he was a genius who tamed a wild business and lowered the price of kerosene for millions. To a growing number of Americans, he was a robber baron, the face of a dangerous corporate tyranny that threatened the American dream. The empire was built. Now, the world was about to strike back. As the 19th century ended, public opinion was turning hard against Rockefeller. Political cartoonists drew Standard Oil as a monstrous octopus, strangling competitors and corrupting politicians. The name Rockefeller became a synonym for greed and ruthless power. The public's anger found its champion in a new wave of investigative journalists called muckrakers, and none was more feared than Ida Tarbell. For Tarbell, this was personal. She grew up in Pennsylvania's oil region, where she watched her father, an independent oil producer, get nearly ruined by Rockefeller's tactics. In 1902, McClure's magazine began publishing her 19-part series, History of the Standard Oil Company. It was a journalistic bombshell. With incredible detail, Tarbell exposed the secret deals, predatory pricing, corporate espionage that built the empire. She didn't just write an economic analysis, it was a moral indictment. She painted Rockefeller as a cold, money-mad monopolist who acted like he was above the law. Legal battle was titanic. Standard Oil's lawyers argued the company's size was just a result of superior efficiency. Government, armed with Tarbell's research, argued it was the result of bribery, coercion, systematically destroying rivals. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court. On May 15, 1911, the court delivered its historic verdict. In Standard Oil Company of New Jersey versus United States, the Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil was an illegal monopoly. The court found the company had an undeniable intent to monopolize the industry and had used its power to an unreasonable degree. The sentence was corporate capital punishment. The massive empire was to be shattered into 34 separate companies. Rockefeller had lost. His life's work, his monument to order, was forcibly dismantled. But in a final, great irony, the destruction of his empire made him richer than ever. As a major shareholder in all 34 of the newly independent companies, which would become giants like Exxon, Mobil, and Chevron, their individual values exploded. His fortune nearly tripled. He had lost his empire, but he had won an incomprehensible fortune. The new question was, what would he do with it all? Stripped of his empire and widely seen as the most hated man in America, Rockefeller faced a crisis of legacy, not finance. He was the first American to have a net worth over $1 billion, yet his name was a curse. And at this moment, his life took its second great turn. The man who spent the first half of his life hoarding the world's greatest fortune would spend the second half giving it away. This change wasn't entirely his own idea. It was guided by his son, John D. Rockefeller Jr., and a PR pioneer named Ivy Lee. Lee was hired after a deadly strike at a Rockefeller family-controlled mine in Colorado, known as the Ludlow Massacre, further destroyed the family's reputation. Lee knew Rockefeller couldn't just buy good press, he had to earn it. He engineered one of the most stunning public image makeovers in history, transforming the robber baron into a smiling, benevolent grandpa. Rockefeller started applying the same principles to philanthropy that he did to business: scale, efficiency, strategy. This wasn't just charity, he called it scientific giving. He wanted to solve the root causes of human problems. His biggest creation was the Rockefeller Foundation, established in 1913 to promote the well-being of mankind throughout the world. It funded everything from fighting yellow fever to developing new vaccines. He also provided the money to establish the University of Chicago, turning it into a world-class institution. Over his lifetime, Rockefeller gave away more than $500 million, an astronomical sum. But the question always lingered. Was it genuine altruism, rooted in his Baptist faith that his wealth was a trust from God? Or was it a calculated PR move to launder a dirty reputation? John D. Rockefeller died in 1937, just shy of his 98th birthday. He left a legacy as vast and contradictory as his life. He was the industrial pirate who became a global benefactor, the father of both the modern megacorporation and strategic philanthropy. His dark legacy is still with us. The very existence of antitrust laws is a direct response to his empire.